Welcome back to the shop, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we're looking at some Texoma wheels. All right, these are the BIGish wheels. They are just a larger wheel face, and they can fit on any 1.0. They do stretch the wheel just a tiny bit, but they look much larger on the tire than a stock 1.0 wheel or any 1.0 wheel. We're going to put one of these guys together and show you what it's about. We've already got these here. Look at that. It's like a huge looking wheel face. You can run them on deep dish with the offset or regular flat faced. And then you have some normal offset. You're not, no wheel turning scrub. Pretty cool. They come in a bunch of different colors. You got the black, obviously, blue, gold, gray, purple, red, silver, white, and green. Another cool thing is they use essentially the same bolt pattern and size hubs as the Mofos. So you can run Mofo brass or aluminum 303 or 6 millimeter because he offers the three different offsets, and then again in brass or aluminum, which is sweet, or you can use the included plastics, which is what we're going to do. We will at some point be building a Pro Slayer, and we just got to wait on some more parts coming from Texoma. And yeah, we've got some of the black stuff. We're going to be waiting on the other colors, and then we will show that build. But I wanted to show these wheels now because the wheels are actually pretty awesome. They come with these inserts, and the first stage foam, we're actually running with no foam because these tires are pretty small diameter. I'm not sure the actual diameter on them. These are actually some AliExpress specials, but they feel pretty good. So we're looking right around 55 millimeters, 54 and a half maybe. Now we're at 55. These are 55 millimeter. So 55 millimeter tires, but if you're running something big, like the new Low Guy Racing Product 57s or some 60 plus tires, you're going to want to run your foam along with them. But again, they have this stiffer stage 1, which is very cool. But I think with no foams, these are going to be pretty good still because we have a foam in there, sort of comes with it, right? They also include wheel inserts that have a slot in them like this right here. Or they actually have the inner out, right? So this has an inner on it, part of the print. This one has no inner on it. The ones with no inners allow you to run the Hobby Plus wheel weights, which is pretty sweet. So that is an awesome option. Now, these wheels are a little pricey, but they seem to have a lot of cool mounting options, and I like the way they look quite a bit. And, if we had maybe a silver or a gold, that might actually pop even more now that we're looking at it. Black on black, black wheels on black tires usually it's hard to see. It's hard to see on camera. It kind of fades into the back, but I think it's still going to look really good. Should be pretty cool, actually. I'm not sure what rig we're going to stick these on. Like I said, they're going to go on the Slayer once we get the Slayer built, but right now, maybe they'll just sit. Maybe they'll just sit until we get the Slayer. But I did want to show them off because, again, I love what Texoma is doing over there. Josh is putting in tons of work, trying to make tons of cool products. Everything he does is 3D printed right now, but hopefully at some point he can start getting some higher end prints or metal prints or just even getting stuff straight milled in aluminum and brass. That would be awesome. I would love to see that for him. Like I said, he's been working hard. If you know about Texoma, one of the first things that kind of put him on the map was a wooden body, and then they did the wooden Slayer chassis. And then once you started 3D printing chassis, now everybody can get them. They're accessible, which is pretty awesome because while we don't have one yet, we do know that they seem to perform pretty well just from everything we've seen from other people's rigs, even here locally. So we're super excited to get ours built. I'm not even sure which way we're going to go with it, if we're going to build either an SCX Slayer Pro or an FCX Slayer Pro, or maybe even a Hobby Plus, the CR18P Slayer Pro, because he builds the chassis so that you can do it anyway. You can build any of them. You can order the parts for all of them. He even has battery on axles, body mounts for the Slayer kits, link risers, crazy weighted steering link, which we'll show all this stuff when we're doing the build. He's got the battery tray, He's got the servo mounts. He's got link hangers, which are definitely interesting and innovative. We're going to have to check those out at some point. And yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Definitely want to check out his Etsy. Go down to the link below and check out the Etsy. Let's get this guy together. I just want to kind of show you. Sorry about the rant there, but they are a tight fit. So just know you're going to be stretching your tire quite a bit when you're trying to get it on there. So you just want to kind of get it started. And then once you're on there, you can kind of pull it around. And make sure you don't tear your first stage foam. These tires are kind of stiff on the sidewall, so they're a little harder than probably some of the softer, larger tires. Also, again, they're only 55, so it makes it a little bit rough to get them tucked in there. There we go. I was missing the bead. And then once you're in there, you're good to go. Again, just don't rip your foams. Bam. Okay. Make sure you work it so it's nice and even in there. Now, one thing to remember is these are 3D printed, guys, so don't torque down on them a crazy amount. He does include these guys. They're M1.5 on the hex, but they're coarse thread. So just be aware of that, especially if you end up using the Mofo hexes. I'm not sure how that's going to play well. They probably are using fine thread on the hexes versus coarse thread here. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be breaking off screws or stripping out your hexes using the coarse threads if they're not meant for coarse thread. Then we can go ahead and just grab the hub like this, and you can kind of set it in there and then pull your bead up over. Okay. And then work it in nicely. Kind of pull it out just a little bit, not too much. Just make sure your bead's sitting kind of towards the top, this side. You know, on the inside, you want it towards the lip. Should be good there. And then you want to line this up as best as you can, right? So that you're matched on your holes. And then go ahead and pull your bead up and over the inside lip of this back wheel face, or front, depending on how you're building them, I suppose. You want to pull it out again, get that bead nice and set on there. Okay, and then you want to make sure you're pressing down on this as you start your screws. One thing to remember when you're doing your screws is these are kind of threading as you do it. So you're actually going to be threading a screw through multiple planes. And if you know anything about that, it can make it so that things don't line up right, spacing wise, or things get stripped. So I would highly recommend that you hold this as tight as you can, get those two faces together as much as you can as you screw this in, right? So we're going to go ahead and start it. And then we're going to hold it as tight as we can as we screw it in. And we're going to screw it in until we feel the threading come out the backside. And once we feel the threading come out the backside, we'll go just a little more and then just kind of stop for a second. Okay, so you can kind of see our threading poking through. And we're going to do another screw here. And we're going to do one on each side. And make sure you're nice and tight as you're screwing it in. Again, you're not pushing with the screw, you're pushing with your fingers that are holding the two faces together, because if you push with the screw, you could easily break. You can push a little with the screw, but you don't want to go too hard. You don't want it to break. You can see these holes they're actually not fully supported, right? Okay, but just enough to make sure that your faces are nice and tight. And you can do all of them, or you can just go ahead and start with your hub now. Make sure your hub is going to be sitting flat. And if you need to do any sort of trimming, you can do that to make sure the hub sits nice and flat in there. Because if your hub's not flat, your wheel will wobble. We don't want wobbly wheels. Let me back this screw off a little. And it feels like the hub does not want to sit flat on this one. And that's just sometimes inconsistency in the prints. Yeah, I can see it's kind of sitting off a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Dremel and I'm just going to take off literally one layer of this in here, okay? Just a tiny bit. All right, and now so that's kind of opened it up just a little bit more for us. Again, it wasn't sitting flat because the spokes were kind of pushing on the hub. So now we fit a lot better, a lot more flat, and We want to make sure we hold that tight as we screw it in, because again, we're going through multiple planes with the screw, and we can tighten it down until we feel snugness. Again, don't over tighten. These are 3D printed. All right, and that looks fairly flat. Once we get all the screws in there, we can feel it. We'll spin it on our fingers, and you can feel if the hub is not flat. Again, it should be. It was just a little bit of extra printing kind of on these spokes that was causing it to not sit totally flush. But now I think we are good. And we got an extra screw, just in case you lose one. Always good to include extra hardware. You big guys out there making stuff that aren't including extra hardware, take note. Even Texoma is giving us extra hardware. Okay, these all feel pretty good. Nice and snug. As long as your screws are all equally in set, you can take your wheel and you can spin it, and you can feel if your hub is canted at all. And this feels pretty good. So, as you can see, we're running these guys in deep dish style. We're digging them. They look super good. We're super excited to throw them on a caged Slayer once we get all of our parts. All right, guys, make sure you check out Texoma. Make sure you also like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. That way you know when the Slayer Pro build is ready to be viewed. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon. Like I said, we're just waiting on extra parts from him. We heard that he's a little behind, which is awesome because that means he's busy and he's got tons of orders coming in. So we are in no rush. We'll get it to you as soon as we can. I think there's a couple other guys out there going to be doing some Slayer builds too. So feel free to check out their videos. Yeah, we're all about building community and educating people. And if I don't have the video yet and somebody else does, go check it out. Go check it out. Also, guys, if you want to help support the channel, check out our swag down below. We have some shirts and stuff, and we're going to be doing a contest at some point very soon where it's basically a giveaway, not really a contest. If you buy some swag and take a picture with that swag while you're running your mini RC and send it over to us, we will add it into our hat. And when we pull a name from the hat, somebody's going to win a free RC. We're going to be doing any ready-to-run small scale RC within a certain budget, probably under $200. We'll just buy it for you and send it to your house. So pick up some swag, get ready for that. Get ready take some pictures out there in your cool mini RC swag. And yeah, you'll get entered into the contest. We'll tell you when to do that when we do the video about the contest and where to send your pictures. Anyway, guys, get out there, build something awesome, build a car, build a community, build a course, and then smash it, crash it, and bash it, but don't break the expensive parts. Peace.